Seven Deadly Sins. Owner of one of the greatest fall offs of all time. Up there with Ninja, Fetty Wap, 2K, Polo G, and even the Hub. All-time great trajectory. Just cut short, like the anime version of D-Rose. But luckily, this is not a Meliodas vs Escanor vid, because we going back to slightly after peak Seven Deadly Sins, where we see Meliodas' powers busting out the amber, covering the map in darkness, looking like the Nether or either somebody reincarnated King Von, before it all comes booming into Meliodas, putting him inside just sucking it all in, looking like he finna turn into the Avatar, until eventually he sucks it all dry and the commandments realize he's back. So then he throws on the fit, making sure he's looking pristine for the pull-up, before asking Merlin to send him to the 10 Commandments. And Merlin, oh Merlin, what a sight for sore eyes. Is what I would say if she wasn't mid. Tired of seeing her gassed up like she not fringe top 5 in her own show. But she tells him she can, but he has to last 10 seconds before she can bring him back. But even for me, 10 seconds is not a problem. So of course he says he still wants to go, but the falling off Guild Thunder do not support this decision. But since it's not season 1 no more, we couldn't care less. So he instant transmissions out of there and pops up face to face in front of all 10 commandments. And hitting the John Cena salute too. That's how you know he finna go crazy. Until Galan comes booming down in front of him and then just towers over the little guy. And they low-key got Meliodas set up in the perfect spot for a sensor. What is wrong with these freaks? But then he leans over getting in bro's face, but Meliodas is chilling. Not a drop of sweat, not holding his sword, and even got his hands in his pockets. It's just disrespectful. But luckily, it don't last long, because then he rocks him with the right, before jumping up and gripping the mess out of his forehead, looking like me if I ever saw KSI, before slamming him into the ground, making like 3 different craters looking like an alien invasion. But after seeing that, they probably don't want this garbage we got Alphonse at home bum anyway, as we see him laid out on the ground with his face looking like ripples in a bad BBL, before he pounces up, sending Meliodas into the air, about sending him to outer space, until Galan just starts spamming and not landing nothing either, just mashing buttons on his controller and destroying the map for no reason, before we go back into Meliodas standing on this man's spear and then making him eat a knee, sending him crashing to the ground in slow motion like he handsome Squidward, except he bounces up, letting Meliodas stomp them guts, then violate him with a kick to the face, putting bro on his hands and knees just quivering like Bonnie Blue on contested 963, before Meliodas starts rocking him, sending him sliding across the dirt, except even now he's still not done, as he starts to walk him down, before Galan just flips over on his back like he ready for round 2, except then he stands up and instead of being petrified of getting folded again, he start getting hyped, saying that this is more like it. Like, hey yo, this guy's delusional. It's like just getting whooped by your parents, and instead of letting them leave the room, you like, nah, bring the extension cord, I want some more. Like, buddy, you're a freak. But then Meliodas grabs his sword, slightly unsheathes it, but just puts it back. And we see Galan get cooked, literally squirting all over the battlefield like a Miss B Nasty special, probably leaving him completely drained, leaving Meliodas to walk up to talk to the rest of the commandments. But Zell just like, nah, we don't want to talk. We hate you. Before they go blitzing towards him, both airballing attacks as he gets teleported up out of there, marking the end of Act 1 of Meliodas putting built to ass, fresh off getting his powers back too. All I know is personally, I wouldn't let that slide. So now we fast forward to the fighting festival, where we see Gloxinia and Droll cooked after Escanor pounded them with an attack of pride like it's June. And since most of the work is already done, now Meliodas booms down in front of him, saying it's time for the real festival. Like, brother, you about 9 episodes late. But regardless, we get the face off. Coffin Baby versus Hydrogen Bomb, till Meliodas rushes in as Droll calls back, getting that jump booted back, making Droll show off the double D's like Kanye wife. Except he just comes back in with his other 3 arms, letting Meliodas hit a triple block, sending his ass slowly floating back, before Meliodas goes running up his 8-pack, smacking him with a kick, knocking the grape juice out this creature, as he then grabs his sword and mutilates this man, literally unarming him, giving him the Sasuke and the Shanks at the same time, and then just chilling down here on the rock, not even looking at bro's extremities go plopping to the ground. And I'm sorry, but aura farm by Meliodas is crazy. I could never show my face again. I know he not weak or nothing, but come on now. Look at him. He's adorable. And that's not even acknowledging the fact that he's a pedophile. And turns out he not the only freak out here, because Droll then decides to scoop up some of his grape juice and lick it for no reason. Bro didn't get a power up, didn't heal or nothing, just licking bodily fluids for the love of the game, before they proceed to have a whole conversation with Meliodas still looking the wrong way, acting like somebody called his name. As he explains, this was all part of his plan to catch him lacking. But while that's going on, we see the flower drop some pollen onto Gloxinia, which would have had me fighting for my life for weeks. But for them, we see that green ore start coming in, either meaning that shit stink or they getting healed up. So we go back to Droll, who randomly start throwing up gang signs like he finna start crip walking, making the ground start to tremble, and finally, we get to see Elizabeth. Nah, this is somebody we can gas up. But then he claps his hands together, making these rock hands grab up all the support characters, putting us in a hostage situation. And with Elizabeth and Deanne in there, no way he letting that slide. He just like me. So he bisects Droll's last two arms, meaning no more goons, before transmissioning in front of him, rocking his big ass. Till Meliodas looks back at it and gets beamed into the ground, because Gloxinia finally finished using the med kit and is back looking like a Super Saiyan crab in one of the most hideous designs I have ever seen. Whoever did this got the hands of a Therizinosaur with the legs of Mr. Krabs, combined with the fact they got these rainbow Lil Nas X butterfly wings. Like, bro, what? And he got the nerve to be up here smirking like it's tough. You and whoever let you step out the crib like this should be executed. Before all that junk just shattered to pieces, thank God. And this man Meliodas down here pissed, with that demon mark loaded up, before he starts walking them down and then launches up, making Gloxinia create this damn portal to the regular show intro that blasts a beam of light that Meliodas just stares at, probably thinking he finna be on his way to heaven. Like, nah buddy, enjoy that heat, as it goes straight to him and even blows up about them a whole mountain range, already clearing one piece. And that one attack already got the side characters shivering they timbers, thinking they don't even got a chance at supporting Meliodas, even though it's a down here that is literally immortal and one of the people they fighting have 0 arms. But hey, who am I? So then NPC number 16 puts up that flying Rajan sign and gets everybody out of there, leaving us a Gloxinia loading that flower back and dropping the pollen on the Droll. But before he even gets to heal, something busts out the ground in the distance and starts speeding towards him, just blasting through the rubble. And of course it's Meliodas, looking like he done stripped down and is flying butt booty naked, letting all the demon out. Even bringing out some wings too, just to flex on Gloxinia, reminding him that they are not special, causing him to bring out this demonic tree that shoots his limbs out to Meliodas, who without even breaking a sweat destroys the wood, cutting it into pieces like an evil X, before he flies up and incinerates the tree's guts, giving bro the ace special, and then rocking Gloxinia, literally destroying his guts, got his spine touching his stomach like he just got blasted with a cannonball. And then Meliodas grabs his sword ready to hit the fatality too, but instead he just gets snatched up by Droll, who's standing behind Meliodas with 3 arms ready to touch this man. And he know it too. You can see the fear in his eyes, looking like it's his first night in jail. Until we see rocks start floating off the ground that go bodying Meliodas, sending him up into the stratosphere, where he just gets surrounded by him like it's his turn on the couch, before Droll then sends them all crashing down on top of him, making it look like a New Year's fireworks show. Except even after all that, we still see Meliodas working his big ass, slicing up his implants, before just bouncing off the rock, going back and cooking Droll with the flames, leaving Meliodas just looking into the fire like he can't wait to eat. Except we going to see bro done turned into some pristine top tier metal, thinking he Colossus like we in X-Men. And somehow Gloxinia just in here chilling like nothing happened. So now the flower shoots off onto Gloxinia, healing him up, making it seem like bro got more than just healed, might be sneaking TT down there. Except even with that, Droll goes back to normal and is cooked. Gloxinia got to heal up from a gut punch and get a nut off, just leaving the person that saved him on 2 HP. That's an L-mans. So now he on his hands and knees, looking like he wants some of what Gloxinia just got, before luckily he gets healed up too. And the fact that it seems Meliodas is just letting them repeatedly heal up is so considerate. I mean, it's not like they knocked him out or anything. He's literally the one who did the last attack and was just sitting down here watching, yet still chose to let them both heal. he really just fighting for the love of the game, like a demon version of Aaron the Plumber. But since now they're all healed, he comes flying in, caught back, getting weaved, but still just blitzes behind Gloxinia with his sword out. And we find out Gloxinia is part Goku going Ultra Instinct, beautifully weaving this mutilation attempt. As we then see him laid out in the air pulling a Gojo, till Meliodas transmissions in, rocking him with the elbow, sending them literally bouncing off the ground with so much force they even got hang time. All while Dro back here emoting, hitting this whack ass T-pose. Look like he finna start up the fusion dance. Just to bring out this whack ass trapezoid that looked like it hit his own teammate. Bro forgot to turn off friendly fire, leaving Meliodas to go flying over, smacking him with a kick, knocking out more grape juice, and sending his big ass flying and crashing to the ground like the fraud he is. There's no way your ginormous ass should be getting sit flying like that. This is like LeBron all over again. But now Meliodas goes and poses in front of the moon to get a pic right quick, trying to be like Itachi, knowing damn well this shit whack as hell, before we see him just standing in front of the bodies of his former teammates and the victims of this ass beating. Before he then readies up telling him, it's time to end this. As we see stuff come beaming from out of the sky, had me thinking he had an attack set up like Madara, but nah, it's worse, because the rest of the 10 commandments have arrived. But hold on, rewind. Derry, oh Derry. I'm sorry, Mom Speed, but you have to step aside. Let me ISO. Or in the words of Mark Jackson, allow me to have this dance. Also, Derry is a crazy ass name. Why would you name her this? But now we get the standoff of the sons of the Demon King. Before Meliodas grips that sword and slashing off rip, not wasting no time, having zero mercy for his own flesh and blood. Maybe bro is Itachi. Except unlike my glorious king, we see that he got cooked as Zeldris just holds this man's arm like it was nothing. We didn't even see bro move, inducting Meliodas into the Shanks Club. Except this demon just bro kicks Zeldris, putting him about 15 feet in the air, and then goes to reattach his arm himself like he Kakazu. Except nope, no more gooning, buddy. Lil bro is not going for it. Before he says, now do it. Got me thinking he talking to the voices in his head like he Randy Orton. Before we see Grey Road demonic ass behind him, this sends chains binding up Meliodas, leaving Shanks Jr. unable to break out as they go even further into his body. But just like the 1800s, that is not enough to keep bro out. As we go back to him charging up, blasting a quick 3-piece kick combo, literally just wasted time since he saw bro had his block animation already loaded up. So then the smoke clears and Zeldris gets a shoot to his face as Meliodas bounces back just to go right back to trying to get his arm. And with Elizabeth waiting on him, I can't even blame him. So then he turns around and goes booming into the ground, flooding the battlefield with black smoke like when Sweetie leave the bathroom. As you see Meliodas trying to dip, little man does not want to get turned into Lily Phillips. But it don't even matter, because turns out them chains Grey Rose put on him makes him unable to leave the location. So maybe it is like the 1800s. So then he stands there as Derry pops up behind him, caught back, coming down, clashing with Meliodas, before spinning into a kick that gets blocked too. And with him being a freak, I'm surprised being that close to feet didn't give bro a stab boost. Because me personally, but they separate and proceed to clash like 3 more times, both of them doing 0 damage, just playing with each other. And honestly, I don't blame. Before she then jumps up and goes clashing again, except this time they go booming through the ground. Before she just smacks his ass like me with Diane, sending him out of there, making him go absolutely flying across the map. And she not done yet either, cause she come beaming that bro, spinning crazy like she just been itching to fight. She had to have been holding this in for years, as she gets 3 back-to-back heavy punches trying to disintegrate this man's arms. She must have saw what he be doing to Elizabeth before she go full star platinum and just starts blasting his ass, spamming him with more punches than the number of years between Bond and Elaine, until she then says that it was 53. So it's still not that close, I guess. As we see Meliodas in here fried, arms looking like they got a crazy hickey from like Orochimaru or something. And to make it worse, we even see his demon mark go away as she smacks him with number 54, sending him through a hill and bouncing crazy all the way back into none other than Mom Speed's hands. Probably mad his girl was beating another man, just dropping bro off in the stratosphere like he trying to put him into orbit. Until he comes back down, loading up a Hellfire bird and launching it that goes incinerating Meliodas, looking like he making a whole new sun. Except we see him go shooting out of the explosion and through Monspeed with a knife in his hand, thinking he's Zabuza, before he still just booms into the ground and Monspeed lands as calm as possible, like nothing even happened. What a waste of a good play, huh, chat? Except we see his neck sliced back, got him looking like a Pez toy and just squirting everywhere as Meliodas struggles to stand up and Derriere pulls up, cooking him for even getting hit in the first place. But girl, ain't nobody worried about Zildjian right now. You might have to back up. And so Meliodas goes walking forward looking completely cooked, to the point even Gil Thunder trash ass say to teleport him to the battlefield. But buddy, your time is over. Enjoy the sideline. As Dreyfus then walks up to him saying he's been praying for this moment. Except after a solid talk no jutsu session, we see his demon mark go away as he even sheds a tear. Before just destroying this man with the Starbreaker, literally violating Meliodas and even making Gloxenia start up an attack too, making sure he don't get up again. As they blast off this crazy spear that goes absolutely obliterating the entire area, trying to blow bro to smithereens. You would think Meliodas kidnapped a family or something the way they acting, bro. He just switched teams. We ain't do this to KD. But regardless, we go in to see Meliodas looking fried, gone, finished, no HP. Till out of nowhere, he picks up his sword and a damn green tornado starts up where even the commandments think they finna get packed up. Especially considering how they just standing there instead of, I don't know, getting the hell out the way. As Meliodas goes forward with the revenge counter, but gets caught with absolutely zero effort, and by none other than his alleged younger brother. And since Meliodas tanked Gloxinia's attack to put everything he had in the revenge counter, he's got nothing left. So he goes falling to the ground on the brink of consciousness until Estarossa then puts his heavy ass metal boot on this man's chest and starts destroying bro's diaphragm, with Meliodas just screaming out in pain. And he sound like a little kid too. This is just evil. I can't even give bro no props for this. But the sad part is, it gets even worse. Because then this freak says, "Oh, just a little more, Meliodas. Let me hear that sweet voice of yours." Probably worse than Alabama. As he proceeds to keep squishing him into the ground with everybody in the back in the cuck chair just watching and listening, before he then picks bro up by the neck, holding him dangling in the air like he finna ask for his lunch money, before just tossing little bro back to the ground. And at this time, we see Bond asking the mage to send him to the battlefield, where Melascula is literally sucking the soul out of Meliodas like she been watching some Ash Cash, until we see Bond do zero sign and go walking by every one of the commandments, till he gets to Melascula, grabbing her by the face and eviscerating that neck, putting the whole squad in shock. That girl literally just got healed and done already got that frown turned upside down. I'd be sick. As he then goes slicing all through her, taking out every single one of her hearts. And to make sure the job's finished, even stomps him out too, having zero mercy. So then he tells Meliodas to let him handle Estarossa, before we see him get cooked, stabbed straight through the heart, resulting in Bond trying to attack just for him to get cooked without even getting looked at. As Estarossa takes out yet another one of Meliodas' hearts, because turns out these freaks have 7 of them. Do not let Rod Wave find out about this. He might start eating even more. Before Bond goes wrapping up Estarossa too, but he's still calmly murdering his so-called brother, with Bond giving his all to decapitate him. But regardless, it's not enough, as the 7th and last heart gets punctured, marking the end of Meliodas. And since Estarossa is just in that type of mood, he somehow even pops Bond out of there too, marking the end of the fight and 2 freaks getting wiped off the map. So hey, at least we leaving here with something.